Hi everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday class. It's great to be back. Thank you very much to Basti for covering for me last week. It was great. I was on holiday walking around the northwest Norfolk coastal path. It was very windy, but it was great fun. Okay, so hi Rosso. First to post on the chat. Just like to say hi on the chat. Hi Mary, Sarah, and Liz. Hey. Yeah, Liz, it was a great walk. Very windy though. I think I got a bit of invasion of wind because I was actually off sick for a few days early this week. I'm recovered now. I just had to rest, but I had a bit of wind invasion, I think, in the head. So hi, James. Hi, Christine, Aurora, Chris, Simonetta from Rome. Hi, Simonetta. It's great to have you on the class again. So I'm going to kind of get back into the swing of things this class, and stream connections lost. I'm sure Basti's going to be on the chat. I'm sure he'll sort you out very soon. So Jane, Edward, Joan, hi. Lynn, hi there from West Runton. Sally, hi from Norwich. Jacqueline. Yeah, so I'm back. And I thought what we'd do this week is I'm going to ask you a basic question about the scan because I'd like to just get a kind of feel for where we are as a group so we can switch things. And of course, it's a new month. And you know what that means? It means a new channel that we're going to be investigating for the next month. So I'm just going to bring the slides up. Here we are, welcome to the Wednesday class. And now, if you remember, we're going around the entire cycle of the channels. And look at that, can you believe it? We're nearly halfway through the year now. We started off with lung, which is the first channel. Starts at 3 a.m. in the morning, and it goes through. We've done, so with January, February was large intestine, March, stomach, April was spleen. May last month, we were looking at the heart, tuning into the heart channel. And this month is going to be the small intestine channel. And you see that it says there, sort and absorb food, low energy nap time. So there we are. But also on an emotional level, which is probably more important, the small intestine channel protects the heart. It's also used to treat, as we'll find out, a lot of things that can go on in the head. So we'll find out all about that. Yeah, I mustn't get distracted by the chat. Otherwise, here's Basti. Basti's on the chat now. I must not look at the chat. Otherwise, I'll never get on with the class. But it's great to see so many familiar faces, familiar names on the chat. Okay, so here we are. We're in the small intestine area. I've got a point of the week all lined up for later on. But let's go straight in now and get on with the scanning, because what I'd like to do is get more in touch with you as a group. I want to find out where you are in terms of Chinese medicine. We're going to do a whole body scan, and then I'm going to ask you a question about that scan to find out what best describes where you are at the moment. Once we've got that information, we can scan the 3 heaters, the 3 burning spaces, and find out where you're at with that, and then we can build the class around you. Okay, tweak it as we normally do. Okay, but I just feel like I needed to catch up with you after having a week off. So let's do the whole body scan to start with, and then I'll ask you a question about how your general energy is, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we go. So for this, what we need now is we need a whole blank sheet of paper like that. And we're going to do basically a focusing exercise, tuning into our whole body. And we're going to do a drawing of our whole energy body. So we're going to be standing, first of all, just standing. You can do it sitting if you like, just relaxing. And we're not going to try and change anything at this stage. What we're doing is we're just checking in with ourselves and seeing if we can find out how we actually are. So already just tuning, I can feel few little things happening with me. But let's go scan down from the top of the head and scan down through the head, through the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and then down through the throat. And when we're at the throat, we're going to tune into the neck as well. And go down, tuning into the shoulders, elbows, wrists, hands. And then we're going to scanning down through the torso, So we've got the 3 heaters here in the torso. We're going to go through those. And also just check out your back, see how your back is. Down into the hips. Okay, and then down through the knees. Right down through the legs into the ankles and the feet. So we're just scanning back. Now I'm going to take a kind of step back and imagine our whole energy field as one. Okay, now turning that into a picture, and just draw an overall, like a whole body scan. It doesn't have to look like a person. It can be a very just a sort of impressionistic thing, if you like. So for me today, I'm a bit like that. You see, it doesn't really look like a person, but it gives you an idea of the energy of what I need from the class. So I'm really hoping, but in an hour's time, I can have very different patterns of my energy. So looking at your energy overall, I'm going to ask you a question as a group about what's the general, what best describes your scan? That's the question, yeah. So basically it's weak or tired, that's deficiency in Chinese medicine. Okay, hot or agitated, that's heat. Cold or frozen, and we've got blocked or obstructed as well, and that's more of a stagnation thing. So the question is, are you kind of generally well and balanced? Are you more blocked? Do you feel kind of weak? Do you feel a bit hot? Which is what I do. I feel a little bit hot still, and I need a bit of cooling down here and centering. Or do you feel cold? Okay, so I'm going to share that now, and we'll get an overview of the group in terms of Chinese medicine. So if you'd like to vote for that, because then what we can do is I'll show you how you can adapt the exercises depending on where you're at. Okay, well done, by the way, for those of you who feel well and balanced, which is great. We've got 5% so far. Oh, look at that. Now, this is really interesting information, everyone, because we've got a way bigger proportion of the group that are feeling weak or tired, and that means probably going to be deficient in Chinese medicine terms. So we've got to basically make sure we tonify the Qi, and that's really important. The next one is blocked or obstructed, so we want to put a little bit in there for those of you who feel obstructed, and then we can adapt those exercises. Quite a lot of you are hot. Look, I've got 15% hot, and then which means we need some cooling points, and I can show you some of those and some techniques. And if you're feeling cold or frozen, you need more yang energy there, so we can definitely work on that. Especially when we tonify the Qi, we can also tonify the yang. I'll show you how to do that, and that will help you. Okay, so that's really useful information. So now let's go on and find out how your burners are, because how your burners are will depend on how we can achieve the objective this week, which is to try and get the whole group balanced out. Okay, so we need 3 zones. Okay, this is the 3 zones. This is the upper heater, middle heater, and the lower heater. Okay, I'm going to put the upper, middle, and lower there. Okay, and we're going to scan those, and that will give us an idea of how we can use internal Qi Gong and Douyin exercises to make sure we tonify those 61% of us in the group that need more energy. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to standing up again. I've got my chart right next to me. So we're just going to shake out a little bit, tune in, okay. And we're going to tune into the lower heater. So this is the heater below the navel, down onto the pelvic floor and round into the sacrum. That's the whole of the lower heater. And we're just going to relax, tune into that area and ask ourselves the question, what is that like? Okay, we're going to get a picture of that, or a feeling or sense of what it's like. And then we're going to go up onto the middle heater, that's this heater here, and ask ourselves, what is that like? That's below the diaphragm and above the navel, and it goes around into the lower thoracic spine there. Okay, got it? And then we've got the upper heater, which is this area here, which incorporates the lungs and the heart. And we ask ourselves, what is that like? Okay, now just to give you an idea, just to remind you, this area should feel kind of strong and not hot or cold, but it's kind of strong and kind of full of energy. This area, particularly the middle burner, we want particularly that to be relaxed and open. And the upper heater should be like a mist. So it should feel kind of a little bit cool, not cold though, and not kind of clogged up, but just kind of open and a little bit moist and just like a mist. Okay, so if there's heat here, that's something you really don't want. And if it's too cold and clappy, you don't want that either. If this is kind of obstructed and blocked, you don't really want that. And if this feels weak, particularly, you don't want that either. So tuning into those three areas and turn them into a picture. We're going to draw that down on our chart, on our 3-burner chart. I'm going to do mine now. Tiny little bit there. Okay, if you come regularly, it's really interesting to see how the burners move, and it's been fascinating to chart over the last 2 years how the group has changed. Now we've got a lot of information already about how the group, how we are generally, but we need a little bit more detail on the 3 burners. So I'm going to run the 3-burner poll now, and which burner do you want to work on most today? So you just have to pick one of those 3 burners that you think is the most important one for you, whichever way, and then we'll go from there. We've had some pretty dramatic swings as well over the last 2 years as things have changed in the world around us. So let's just see how we get on today. How about that? Look at this. Anyone else want to vote? We've got 75% voted, 78%. We're getting up to 100% now. Okay, now look at this. This is really interesting because we've got pretty much an even split between the lower and the middle, lower and the upper, and the middle burners left behind a little bit, which is going to be really important there. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that. So what I think we should do then is we should really make sure we sort out our lower burner, especially for those of you who are feeling a bit deficient. Before we do that, let's try and move some obstruction using some shaking. Now, if you're feeling very tired and very weak, take the shaking exercises really, really easy because you don't want to over sedate and move too much energy if you're feeling really weak. So just keep the shaking really, really gentle. If you're feeling more obstructed, that's when you want more shaking, and you want to do all the exercises a little bit stronger, especially the Doughnut exercises, just to get energy shifted. What I'll do is I'll give you a hint as we go through how you can tweak the exercises. And for those of you that are feeling a bit cold or hot, then we can put in some special points for you as we go along. Okay, great. So let's start. So we're going to start off with some shaking. Again, if you're feeling very weak, I'm going to take this really, really easily. If you're feeling obstructed though, it's a good idea to really give yourself a really good shake out and get rid of any tension or blockages that you can. And we can focus the shaking on specific areas. So if we just scan through our body, find any areas we really want to release, okay? And then we're going to shake those out. And we're going to take this off already. I know I'm going to get warm doing this. We're going to shake them out. So I'm going to start off with some very small shaking like this. Okay. Now, if you're feeling weak or tired, you want to keep it about this level, really gentle. Keep kidney 1 open and just use it as a way of just opening up the channels, ready for the tonification that we're going to do in a minute. So you're just going to just gently shake out about this kind of level. Okay. Now keep that going for a few minutes. But for those of us who feel more obstructed, let's really start shaking out. Really release the jaw, the shoulders moving, elbows, wrists and hands. And really get the joints shifted because a lot of obstruction tends to affect the joints. So wherever you're feeling that obstruction, you want to go right in there, give it a really good shake out. Okay, and those of us who are feeling weak and tired, you should be just doing this, just opening up the channels, keeping the kidney 1 open, keeping the jaw released, floating the head up, trying to get that connection between heaven and earth. Okay, let's just see what I've got. I've just got a few more bits to do. Very good. Okay, and then re-scanning, just going to scan through again, just quickly, just to see how we're feeling. Hopefully we're feeling the channel starting to open up, body feeling a bit more connected, and we're getting some release there in some of the areas that might be obstructed. Okay, excellent. Okay, so our next mission here is to tonify the lower burner. Now we need to do that, we need to keep that strong, even if you've got obstruction, because basically we want to make sure that we support the chi underneath it. So when we're moving any obstruction, we don't suddenly kind of collapse afterwards. We want to build the chi up underneath and balance that release with the obstruction. And if you're feeling tired and weak, this is really important for us, because we need to tonify up the lower burner. It's the root of the chi of the whole body, or the key of the whole body. Okay, so let's just check our breathing first of all. We're going to just rub our hands together. Particularly if you voted for tired and weak and the lower burner, if you voted for that combination, this is really, really important for you. And we're going to spend a bit of time doing this. So we're going to place hands on the lower dantian, that's just below the navel. And if you remember from last year, if you remember, we did these Ren points, Ren points at the front of the body. We've got the gate of origin and the sea of Qi. These are like mythical points here that connect with the center of energy of the body. So place our hands over here, and we're just going to check to see how our breathing goes. So let's just take a few deep, easy breaths in, and we're going to imagine light or energy coming in with the breath. We're going to imagine it going down and collecting underneath our hands. And let's just see how easy that is. Okay, so we're going to breathe in. Okay, and then we're going to breathe out. Okay, breathe in. Okay, so we're breathing in energy into the lower dantian. We're holding it there. Imagining it collecting here in the lower dantian. And then as we breathe out, we keep the chi, or imagine that the energy from the breath is just staying down here in the lower part of the abdomen. Okay, very good. Now let's just bear in mind how easy that was. And as we build up, open up the channels, we work up through the burners, we can check in at the end and see if we can get a stronger feeling of that breath going down and connecting into the lower burner. Okay, so here we go. Let's do some work on building up using the channels. And for those of you who voted heat, I think there was yeah, we've got 15% of you felt hot and agitated. So if you're feeling weak and you're feeling hot and agitated, this is a point for you, which is kidney 1, our favorite point to start everything off. And again, even if you're blocked and obstructed, you want to be really thinking about this point, because we want the yin of the body to be tonified. Okay, so here we go. If, however, you're feeling a bit cold, I think there's one person voted cold, yeah, then the kidney 3 is the point you want, and we want to warm up the kidney energy, and the lower burner is the idea. So let's start off by making sure that we get kidney 1 stimulated. It's a really good point for cooling things down in the body, but it also opens up the kidney channel, which is also good for tonifying the chi. So it's a really important one. We're going to just tap it here. Now, if you're feeling very weak, extremely weak, you want to tap it lightly and hold on to kidney 3 here, like that. You may even just, if it's too much for you, you may just want to hold the point and imagine a connection up through the body. I like just tapping it myself, and I find that really helps. We can just lightly tap it. So if you remember where it is, it's 1/3 of the distance down the midline of the body. Okay, if you want more tonification, you can hold on to kidney 3 just behind the ankle here. Okay, and here we go. I'm just going to open up here, opening up the foot. Okay, very good. So that's the kidney 1. And go on the other side. Keep my socks on until the last minute here because it's still a little bit cool here in Norwich. The temperature's not quite warmed up enough yet to get really warm. But anyway, here we go. Look, I'm opening up that point there, kidney 1, holding on to kidney 3, look, and tapping away. Excellent stuff. Look, I'm just opening up. Look at this. Great stuff. Okay, now we're going to do a special thing today. We're going to do a little bit of tapping, but what I'm going to do is focus more on the internal energetics of opening up the kidney channel. The reason for that is because there's so many of us are feeling a little bit tired and weak, and so I'll just show you what I mean, okay? Now, here we go. First of all, let's just really enjoy that feeling of having kidney 1 opened up. My favorite time of the week. I always look forward to this moment, because you can feel kidney 1 activated. You get that feeling of the lower burner really connected down into the earth, kind of relaxes the whole body, and it even starts to cool down the upper body. And I really noticed that particularly today, because if you remember, this was my whole body scan. And I've already got this, I already feel like this. Kidney 1 is so great for just bringing all the energy down, cooling the head down, and just kind of really centering us. Very good. Okay, so now let's just check in again, and let's do 3 breaths again and just see if this feels different now as we breathe in. Okay, so here we go. We're going to breathe in, imagine the Qi in, coming in. Okay, we're going to hold it and keep that awareness of kidney 1. Very good. Okay, breathing out and allowing the Qi to settle in the lower burner as we breathe out. Keeping that feeling, internal feeling of kidney 1 being activated. Okay, let's try it again. Breathing in. Hold it and breathe out. Okay, and then breathe in. Keeping that awareness of kidney 1, holding it and breathing out. Okay, very different, isn't it? How can you get that feeling of how it's so much more rooted down, it's so much easier to bring the breath down, and that's because we're already starting to tonify the lower burner, which holds the breath down in the body, which is exactly what we need. Okay, so now if you're not too tired, what we're going to do is just do some little bit of going on the kidney channel, and then we're going to do a little bit more internal breathing because we want to really tonify this whole area up. So here we go. We're going to go down. If you can do this nice and easily, we're just going to tap lightly behind kidney 3, just gently tapping behind the knee here, and then up into the lower burner. All right, and then we can round onto the sacrum and down the bladder channel at the back of the legs, just to provide a circuit there. You do that 3 times, nice and easy. Don't overdo it if you are feeling really tired. But if you feel okay about this, we can just do that, and that'll just open up the kidney channel, make it even more tonified. Down the bladder channel. Very good. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, and then brushing off. Okay, excellent. Okay, so that's opened up the kidney channel a little bit. If you just relax, and we tune into the legs. Notice they're like a little bit more tingly now. Kidney 1's connected up into the lower dantian. So let's activate the lower dantian with some rubbing exercises. So we're going to just, again, keep that egg under the armpit. We're going to nice, easy circular motion around the dantian. And then we combine that with the breathing. So we're breathing into the lower abdomen, breathing in. Should feel this area coming out slightly as the breath comes in and then the diaphragm relaxes. Okay, and then we breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. As we breathe out, we keep that chi there and imagine it collecting in the lower part of the abdomen. Very good. Now, if you've got enough flexibility to do this without hurting your shoulders, then we can do this, which is stimulating bladder 23. This is a really important point for tonifying the lower burner and the general energy of the body. So if this is uncomfortable for you, just continue to do this. But let's just see if we can get this whole area here filled up with chi, with that feeling of strength and energy from the breath. Okay, as we're doing that, we're keeping kidney 1 open. We're keeping that kidney channel open all the way down into the feet. And we're stimulating the back points here with the backs of the hands, keeping that breathing going. Very good. Okay, and shaking out. Okay, checking in again. Let's just see how easy it is now to get that breathing down into the lower dantian compared to what it was like half an hour ago, 20 minutes ago when we started. And I think we'll find it's a very different experience. Let's try it. Okay, so kidney 1 open, the channels in the leg open, head floating up, sacrum hanging down, egg under the armpit. Okay, and then let's try it. Breathing in, bringing the chi down into the lower dantian. Holding it. Letting it go right into the back here. That's it, brilliant. And then breathing out. Breathing in. Holding it, breathing out. One more, breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, pretty different, isn't it? Doesn't it feel so much easier and so much more solid there? And that solid feeling that we're getting into the earth and into the lower dantian is just what we need to build on the chi going up. Okay, but I know we're probably thinking, those of you who have voted for obstruction are thinking this is all very well, but I'm still feeling a little bit blocked up in here. Don't worry about that. We'll do that in a moment when we get up to the upper heater. But for now, let's just shake out a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep our grounding. We're going to keep this feeling of solidity in the lower burner. And we're just going to allow the upper body to release. We relax the jaw. Okay, and those of you voted for being tired and weaker in the beginning of the session, Just want you to experience what it's like to be able to let go now in the upper body, having had this made much stronger. And you'll find that it's really quite much more relaxing now to just let any tension go in the upper body. And that's because we've started to build the Qi and the Yin underneath the tension that we've got here. Okay, so we're just really going to relax, get that jaw relaxed, that head floating upwards, releasing the neck. Okay, then we're going to go down. We're going to go down into the diaphragm. We're just going to imagine this area bouncing up and down a bit. Imagine the lungs and the other abdominal organs just kind of massaging the diaphragm by shaking gently here. Keeping this rooted though. Keep that kidney 1 open. Keep the legs really rooted. Keep this nice and strong. And get the diaphragm to release there. Okay, and then just ease out. Okay, excellent, really good. So we've got a nice strong connection here with the lower burner. So now it's time to move on up into the middle burner. We had a minority vote for this, but it's really important to get this area nice and open and released. And we're going to use this twisting exercise. Now, if you're feeling a little bit low in energy, what I'd like to do is keep that kidney 1 open and mainly focus on keeping your energy in the lower dantian. And then what we do is just literally very easily turn the body like this. And as we're doing that, we're keeping the connection between here and here in our mind as we do it. What that does is it establishes the connection between the kidney yin, which comes up through kidney 1 from the earth. And that's really important to keep this whole area kind of fluid and mobile. So we're going to keep that connection in mind. This is really important, again, if you're feeling a little bit tired, you don't want to overstretch. However, if you voted middle burner and you voted obstructed, this is where you really want to stretch and move your body because it's really important to keep this open. Okay, so here we go. Adaptive, depending on how you're feeling, keep this area really strong, and we're going to just move this with the turning. If you want it stronger, you can increase it and tap the size of the body. You'll notice that taps around liver 13, which is the point by the floating rib there that we often use when we do the dowing. Okay, so here we are just going to tap there. Okay, very good. Now keep that kidney area and that lower burner really strong. Okay, and you can also look in the direction of this twist if you want to make it a little bit stronger. Okay, very good. And we're going to come back to the front here. And we're going to do a little bit more shaking now that we've moved the energy in the middle burner, okay? And again, depending on how much stagnation you've got there, you might want to make it quite vigorous. And when I say vigorous, I mean like this. But if you're feeling a little bit weaker and you want to keep that strength in the lower burner, keep the kidney 1 open, keep this really strong, and literally just do this. Just shake it nice and easily like this. Focusing in on the middle burner there. Okay, and of course you can shake it really much stronger if you want to remove the obstruction, do some more twisting, if you want to really move any obstruction that's left there. But for me, this is just about right. Okay, very good. So let's just do a little bit of tapping here around the stomach channel and the liver and gallbladder channel. So it's just tapping the sides very gently around here just to activate the channels on the abdomen. Let's do something a bit different. We're going to squeeze down the stomach and spleen channels, okay? I'll just give you a close-up for that. I'm just literally grabbing here and just squeezing here. This is the spleen channel here, and this is the stomach channel. So this is middle burner stuff. Okay, we're just going to squeeze. It's almost like self shiatsu here, going down the channels. If you feel any places that feel really good, that relax this area here, just concentrate on them a little bit more. We go down, squeezing here. This is around stomach 36, and then down we go. Yeah, onto the feet. Squeezing down. Very good. There we are. And shaking out the legs. Okay, very good. So the twisting is for the liver and gallbladder. This is for the stomach and spleen. And the shaking is just to remove any obstruction. Okay, now I'm going to go up to the upper burner. But before we do that, let's just see if we can feel a difference again, having worked the middle burner with our lower abdominal breathing test. Okay, so let's try it. We're going to keep that kidney one open. Oops, that was a burp. That was me releasing the middle burner. If you get a burp, that's a good sign. It means you're releasing. The middle burner often does that if you get the liver adjusting and the stomach and spleen. So here we go. Hands on the dantian again, and we're going to check again. We're going to keep kidney one open. We're going to keep the armpits open. We're floating the head up. We're relaxing the hips. And now the middle burner is nice and relaxed. We're going to relax a little bit more with the mind just around here. And now let's try breathing into the lower dantian. Breathing in. Very nice. Holding, filling it up, relaxing the sacrum, getting the chi right into the lower burner, keeping kidney one open, breathing out. Okay, now if you're voted middle burner and if you voted obstructed, there's a good chance it's going to be much easier now because this area is going to release, the diaphragm is going to be so much more relaxed and you're going to feel that connection so much easier. Let's try another 2 breaths, breathing in. Relaxing the upper body, opening up kidney one, breathing out. Very nice. So one more. Okay, so breathing in. Okay, breathing out, containing the energy here in the lower dantian, relaxing the shoulders. Okay, we're getting there. Very good. Okay, so now we better leave plenty of time for the upper burner because it's a favorite burner today. Also, whether you voted obstructed or tired overall, the upper burner is really important because we need to get the breath in and we need to calm the shen. Remember from last month? In other words, we need to kind of calm the spirit, and we do that by connecting with the lower dantian. Okay, so let's go. Let's do a couple of stretching just to test, see how we are. We're going to bring the arms up, gently upwards. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out and stretch backwards, stretching the thumb backwards. Okay, now you're going to feel that all the way down your arms and into this area here, and possibly into the throat. That's the lung channel. Okay, just see what that feels like. I'm going to relax. And then we're going to test the pericardium channel. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. See what that feels like as we go into the maximum stretch to the middle finger. Okay, and then finally the heart stretch. This is where we bring our hands together like this. Stretch over the back of our heads, open the armpits like this. So we're like that. And again, breathing in. Whoa, okay. Interesting. So just see if any of those three felt the same. If they felt kind of like flaccid and kind of like there's not much tone there, and then that could indicate a deficiency in that channel. They felt rather tight and obstructed. That could indicate there's an obstruction in the channels. Okay, so let's work on all three of those channels, and then we're going to come back in a few minutes and check them again and see whether we can feel any difference. Okay, so let's start off with the lungs. Most important thing about the lungs, especially in terms of tonifying the energy, is the lungs descend the qi. They tend to descend the qi down the body, and it connects with the lower dantian. Here's a really nice, easy exercise that we all love, which is this tonifying, this Qi Gong exercise. So let's see if we can do this and open up the lungs, tonify the lungs, and direct the qi down towards the lower dantian. Okay, so directing the breath. So let's keep the arms up, shoulder width, shoulder height, and drop them back really easily, keeping this area open. Okay, as we're doing that, we're opening up kidney 1 on the feet. Okay, opening up the whole feeling here, connecting with the lower dantian. Once we've got that feeling there, nice and centered and connected to the earth, then we can start with our mind opening up lung 1, which is right here, just below the collarbone at the front of the shoulder. And what we're doing is we're imagining that opening as we bring the arms back, and that will open up the lung channel. Okay, so here we go. Nice, easy breaths. Sinking the breath as low as we can. Lovely. Okay, keep those thumbs out. Okay, now we're going to do some doing on the lung channel. The reason we're going to do that is because we've got quite a lot of people voting for the upper burner, and we've also got quite a lot of obstruction going on and deficiency. So depending on whether you're feeling weak or tired generally, hopefully that's changing already after half an hour of these exercises, you're feeling a lot stronger, or whether you're obstructed, we're going to work on the lung channel. And again, we're going to adapt it depending on how you feel. So I would suggest just very light tapping here, just opening up the lung area here. The reason for this is because breathing obviously is very important to our general overall energy. And actually the lungs, actually one that the upper burner, almost the winner in our burner poll today. So we want to really look after the upper burner. So I'm going to keep that lung nice and open. I'm just going to tap down the lung channel, up the large intestine channel here. Down onto the thumb, and then up. Okay. Nice and lightly, just to open up the channel. Very good. Okay, now we'll do the other side. Any coughing that goes on, that's really good. You're expelling stuff from the lungs. It's always a good sign. If you find you get coughing when you do this, down we go. Down onto the thumb. Okay, now we're going to do our test again. We're going to see whether that's increased the power of our lower abdominal breathing, and it should do, because that should tonify the lungs and increase the descending function of the lungs. But let's just see, okay? So we place our hands on the lower dantian, we go through our checks, so we open up kidney 1, connect with the earth by thinking down into the earth, open up the kidney channel in the legs by imagining that line. Remember that we tapped up behind the ankle into here, get that really feeling solid. Relaxing the middle burner just by relaxing the diaphragm internally and those organs here by just again bringing the mind there. And then just feeling that opening here around lung 1 internally. And that should, if all goes well, change the way we experience this breathing. So let's just try it, okay? Keeping that egg under the armpit, floating the head up. We're going to breathe in. into the lower dantian, hold it, and breathe out. Whoa, very good. Okay, very good. Breathing in again. Hold it. Keeping the shoulders really relaxed. Breathing in one more time. Okay, now if you found that much smoother and much easier, that's terrific, especially if you're feeling a bit tired. I'd recommend that you do something like that series of exercises during the week just to try and build up your qi. In Chinese medicine, there's 3 places that our energy comes from. It's the lower dantian, which is kind of like our underlying energy. Diet, making sure that we eat properly, the right food, which is the middle burner. And breathing, which is the upper burner. We've covered all of those 3 things in the last 40 minutes or so. And if you could feel any change at all in how your energy feels, how the breath's going in, that's absolutely terrific. Okay, so now it's time for point of the week. And I'd like to show you the small intestine channel. Now, just a quick revision. We've started off with the lung. We worked on the large intestine. Then we went stomach, spleen, heart, and now we're on to the small intestine. When we finish the small intestine, we'll be halfway through all of the channels. We would have done 6 out of the 12 channels. And I'll just show you where this point is, and it'll be the start of our journey down the small intestine meridian. Here it is. Okay, it's small intestine 1, which is called Young Marsh. It's on the little finger, as you can see. It's on the other side from the heart. It's on the outside of the channel, okay? And it clears heat from the opposite end of the channel. And that's a lot of the yang channels in the arm do that. So what it does is it connects with the eyes, ears, nose, and the tongue, and it's used for basically problems of all of those organs. Okay, so we'll just do like an energy exercise, and then we're going to do some tapping and regulate the small intestine. I'll just show you where it is on my actual finger. Okay, so it's on the outside. This is the heart channel, if you remember, runs up the inside to here, and it switches round to here, just on the outside there, and that's the small intestine. That's small intestine 1. The channel runs right up the arm and goes up into the head. So let's do an exercise. If you know where it is, you can basically just squeezing the little finger is enough to feel it. It's called, there's various different translations of it, as you can see, but it's called Young Marsh. It's sometimes called something else as well. I can't remember now, but yeah, Young Marsh. Basically, the idea is it's one of the spring points. So that little area on your finger is just like a little bit of a marsh that a spring comes out of, and it flows down the whole channel. That's the image of the point. Okay, now if you remember that we did the heart meridian, it starts at heart 1, it goes all the way down the heart channel down into the little finger, just the other side of small intestine 1. So let's just get down there first of all, and then let's see if we can feel a difference. So we're just going to press gently into heart 1, which is right under the armpit, and we press up towards the top of the shoulder, just gently in. Okay. And all these points are used for the upper burner. They're used for unbinding the chest and calming the mind. We go down by squeezing down the inside of the arm, like this. We get down to heart 7, which is a really important point for calming the mind. And then if we go down here and round, we get to heart 9, which is on the inside of the finger. And then on the outside, we have small intestine 1. And if you just gently press that in, okay, stand again, feet shoulder width apart, let your head float up, relax the shoulders and the arms, and if you gently press in there, you may be able to feel a connection up the channel and into the head. And it all depends a bit on whether the channel's in balance or not, whether you can feel that. If you really need it, if you've got some heat, for example, in the head related to the fire element channels, you'll definitely feel it. If you don't feel much at all, that's probably because the channel is not really that active. Okay, we'll try the other side. We're going to go to heart 1, squeezing down. down to heart 7. This is the point you need for calming the mind. Very good again for any anxiety that you have, especially if you have it in the upper burner there. And then we go round to heart 9, which is right there on the inside of the little finger, and then we go just outside of it to here, which is where small intestine 1 is. It's on the outside, young marsh, the start of the channel, okay? And if you really need it, you'll find that you press there, you'll almost certainly feel things happening in your head. If you don't feel anything, it's just because the channel's not active at the moment. Okay, but it's worth knowing that if you do have some problems like that in the head, or in the head, you can use these points. Okay, the yang channel points on the arm all connect up with the head. They're all embryological connections through the fascia, and they're used basically to balance out imbalances in the head. Always useful. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to press that point. Again, feet shoulder width apart. Squeezing in on the outside and then just opening up the arm. Okay, and if you want to tonify or activate the whole channel, then we can tap from that point up the back of the arm where the red and white skin go, like that, into the shoulder, and then up into the top of the shoulder. Okay, so let's just do that a couple of times, just activating the channel, just to remind us where it is. Small intestine channel. We use this channel a lot in Shiatsu to treat things like whiplash and stress headaches and things like that, because the channel goes up here and it goes right through into the neck, and it kind of be obstructed, can sometimes affect the jaw, all the different organs of the head. Okay, so let's just tap the other side, up small intestine channel, into the head. Okay, so that's heart, small intestine, we've worked the lungs, so now let's just tap the pericardium channel, just to see if there's any obstruction there. Just going to go along here, along the top of the chest here, just to do a thorough job on the upper heater. So we're just tapping here, and then down, and then back up the triple heated channel. Okay, so let's not forget how we need to keep ourselves grounded. We're going to keep that kidney 1 open, keep the breathing nice and deep. And then brushing off. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay, triple heater. This is in the middle of the outside of the arm. And this is heart protector, all down the middle, pericardium down the middle of the inside of the arm. Just gently tapping. This is to complete the channel work on the upper, that connects with the upper heater. And particularly this one, the pericardium channel, we just want to work down and brush off. Okay, excellent. So that's a good upper heater workout. Let's just check those 3 stretches again and see what they feel like. Lung, breathing in. A little bit warmer, a little bit more flowing there to all our work. That's lung. Pericardium, breathing in. Breathing out. Okay, again, more of a connection into the chest there, indicating the channel's nicely worked. And let's see, this stretch is also for the small intestine and the heart. So pressing small intestine 1 should have done something. Let's see, breathing in, breathing out. Nice and relaxed. Okay, excellent workout for the upper burner. So let's check in again, opening up kidney 1, connecting with the lower dantian. Let's just try 3 breaths again, ready, and just keep that upper burner in mind. Connecting here, breathing in. Okay, breathing out. Okay, excellent. And you get more of a kind of calm feeling of connection now as the breath goes through. That's a really good indication that the upper heat has been regulated. which is really important if you've got things like anxiety and things like that. Now we can emphasize that connection, which we've done before, and I know this is a really useful thing to do, by putting our hand here over CV17. This is a point, REN 17, which is in the center of the chest, which connects with the lungs and the heart. And we're going to try and get, we're going to work on the connection between the two of them, okay? So let's see. Now I'm going to close my eyes this time, really make the most of this, opening up kidney 1, keeping that connection, floating the head up. Okay? We're going to breathe, internally breathe the Qi into the chest, and then send it down to the lower dantian. Hold the breath and imagine the two hands are connecting together. Very good. Okay, and then we breathe out and relax. Okay, so we're going to breathing in again, breathing in, breathe in, first into the chest, then into the lower dantian. Hold the breath. Imagine that your two hands are connecting. Very good. Breathing out. Breathing in. Hold it, connecting. And breathing out. Okay, excellent. Now the reason we did that was because we had a lot of upper and lower burner voting, and we had a lot of tired or weak voting for how your overall energy is. And that's probably the best workout we can do to tonify energy. It will make us feel calmer, and it will make us feel a lot stronger inside. The shaking and the releasing, for those of us who feel obstructed now, will be so much easier because it'll be backed up by that strength of Qi in the central core there. Okay, brilliant. So we've just probably got 5 minutes left, have we? We've got 2 or 3 minutes left. I think we'll just do some brushing off now on the head and neck. We'll just do brushing today, brushing around the head and neck, wiping the eyes, pulling the ears, stroking and releasing the yang channels of the head, brushing round and then brushing down the neck, both sides. You can just squeeze a little bit if you need to. Okay, squeezing, tapping, and then brushing up down the arms and the legs. Shaking out. Okay, and then we've got 2 minutes. Just going to release the jaw by the way. Okay, make sure we've got any obstruction there in the upper body that's still there. Make sure we brush, shake that out, brushing off. Boom. Okay, excellent. And just one final check to see how we are internally, and just taking our mind back to how we felt when we drew our whole body scan just under an hour ago. Just tuning into that, and let's see how our lower abdominal breath feels like now. Okay, having done everything, I'm just going to shake it out a little bit more. That's it. Opening up kidney 1, connecting as deep as we can into the earth, relaxing the hips, tuning into the lower abdomen. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're looking for strength, calmness, and release. So let's see if we can get that as we do the 3 breaths again, keeping the shoulders relaxed, float that head up, breathing in, hold it, relax the upper body, gather the Qi, opening up kidney 1 and breathing out. Breathing in again. Hold it and breathing out. Okay, breathing in again. Hold it and breathe out. Okay, well done everyone. Excellent. Well, I really needed that. Let's just go back to the chat and see how you've been doing on the chat. Wait, okay. Thank you very much. Good. Yes, I kept that nice and internal. I hope I've got it pretty much spot on for the group as a whole. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to put a heart in the chat, and we'll continue our journey next week down the small intestine channel. And yeah, thanks ever so much, Bassi, for looking after the chat. I can see it's been really active. And see you next week. Here we go.